So this session is called Duplicate Content, how you can avoid missing out on potential rankings due to duplicate content issues. So first off, let's talk a little bit about why duplicates hurt SEO. So if you have duplicate content issues on your site right now, you may be drastically hurting your potential rankings. The good news is that it's relatively easy to clean these issues up, and when you do, you can see your Google rankings go up relatively quickly. So Google likes to see one definitive source for any piece of content. And when duplicates exist, Google has to guess which version of the content is the original, and more often than not, they choose wrong. So it's very important to make sure that we're not having Google guess which version is correct, because they typically just revert to the one that has the highest page rank or the most links. And if you're a relatively new blogger, that might not be the case. So it's important to point out that Google isn't penalizing anybody for duplicate content. You don't get penalized for it. However, it does cause issues that will negatively impact your rankings. For example, it creates an issue where you may have multiple low authority versions of a page instead of one high authority version of a page. So if Google sees it 5 times, they're going to essentially dilute the authority amongst those 5 as opposed to having one high authority version. And of course, it's better to have one page ranked number 1 or number 2 on Google than multiple pages ranked on page 2, 3, or so on. So we're going to cover a couple of ways to fix duplicates that come from a few pretty common issues here. The first is content syndication, and the second being dynamic URLs. So first, we're going to talk about content syndication, and this is a very practical example of something that most bloggers might run into. So let's say you posted a great article to your blog, and 4 other bloggers decided to republish your article and share it with their audience. Normally, this would be fantastic. You're getting your name and your message out there, and you're getting a lot of exposure to new audiences. But let's say that when they link to you, they just link to your Twitter account or your Facebook page. So you're getting credit as the author, but it's just linking to a social account. So this causes a serious duplicate issue and will essentially ruin any chances you may have to rank well for that article. So you can see here we have 5 different versions of a blog post, and neither you or me or Google could figure out which one is the original. So how can you fix this? So we understand that Google likes to see one definitive source for any piece of content. So how can we tell them which one is a source when duplicates exist? And the best way to clearly tell Google which version is the definitive source is with a link. And we refer to these links as attribution links because we're telling Google where the original source is. So this is great when you want to republish any of your content offsite, such as on another blog or an article directory, and you want to make sure that you're going to get credit as the original source. So anytime that you or another blogger republishes your content, always make sure to get a link back to the original post. Now that's a very important point. Make sure it's a link to the original post, not to your home page or any other page on your site, but to the original post itself. Another thing I'd like you to take note of is to not try and put keywords in these links. Just use a simple URL or a link that reads source. The reason behind this is if you have a lot of syndicated content and you're using a lot of keywords that all are exact matches, it can look a little spammy to Google and it might trigger some other penalties that they've been rolling out. So the best thing to do is to just link back with the URL, or again, something that just says source or original article. Something very simple and easily recognized as an attribution link and not as some sort of link where you're trying to get keyword optimized anchor text. So if you have a good deal of content syndicated around the web right now, and it's just linking to your homepage or social profiles, making this simple change can have a massive positive impact on your SEO results. So one question that I get asked a lot is, how do I find my duplicates? You may not know who is publishing your content where. And real quick, I'd like to show you how you can use this by switching over to Google. and looking for some duplicate content on the tFrog blog that we've been using as an example. So as you can see here, there's an article called The Free Beginner's Guide to Loose Leaf Tea. Now what I'm going to do is follow the process that you just learned and search Google for this and see if I can find any duplicates. So the first thing is I'll simply select the title and copy it. Now I'm just going to jump over to Google and in quotes, search for that. Now, the first thing that stands out is there are some duplicates here. You can see there's this result here, this first result, and this third result both have a duplicate page title. So that's definitely an issue here. So what I'm going to do is take a look at both of these. I'll open them both in new tabs and we'll see what we've got. So the first one is the actual blog post. This is the one that we were looking at earlier. And the second page looks like it's the actual download page for the PDF file. So they both have duplicate page titles. And that's something that we would want to clear up here by adding, download our free beginner's guide, something like that to make it a little bit unique. But for the purposes of this training, that's not really what we're looking for. We did uncover an issue simply by searching for that page title. However, we didn't find anybody that was syndicating our content. So the next thing to do is to add a unique sentence. So let's go back to the article and I'll copy the first sentence. And in quotes, I'm going to paste it. Okay, here we go. So now, as you can see, we're getting some different results. The result that was the downloadable ebook page has been taken out, and now we're seeing a few other things. The first result we're seeing is a category page of the tFrog blog, so that's okay. The next one is the actual blog post itself. This looks like an archive page, the home page. However, this last one is blogcatalog.com. So this is not the tFrog site. So let's take a look at this article. Okay, here we go. And here we are, the free beginner's guide to loose leaf tea. Now, as we can see here, this article is syndicated, but it has linked back, so that's okay. And again, anytime you're trying to find your own syndicated content, that's really what you want to look for. You want to look for that attribution link. So just that simple process, we found a site here that is syndicating our content, and we were able to verify that they are linking back. If we had found this and seen that they weren't linking back, we would have known to contact them and ask them for that attribution link. So let's go back to the presentation for a little bit more info. Okay, so the next thing that I want to cover is dynamic URLs. Now, this can be something that happens very often in e-commerce sites, but also on blogs. So anytime you have a URL parameter, session ID, this can cause Google to see dozens, hundreds, or sometimes thousands of duplicate versions of your pages, because every single unique parameter and combination of unique parameters is considered a unique copy. So all of those are looked at individually and treated as duplicates. So you can see if you have dynamic URLs in any way, you're probably dealing with some serious duplicate content issues. The good news is this is a very easy thing to fix, and it's something that you can fix on your site. You don't have to worry about contacting any bloggers or anything like that. So to fix this, you just add the canonical tag to your pages. So this tells Google which version of the URL is the one to index and to rank. It's the original. So after adding this tag, you don't need to do anything else. Google will recrawl your site, it'll see the tag, and it'll eliminate all the duplicates and focus on the one that you put in the canonical tag. And I've added a sample version of the canonical tag to the screenshot right now. It's simply link the href equals the version of the URL that you want to be the original with rel equals canonical. And as you can see, the other examples here where it's domain.com/blog/id equals, it will know to ignore that URL parameter, session ID, etc., and focus on what it found in that canonical tag. So in conclusion, fixing duplicate issues can be easy and will drastically help you and your SEO efforts.